Stop scrolling. How much are your old coins really worth? Most people are completely wrong. This could change your life. Don't ignore this. The government still allows valuable coins to stay in circulation, which means rare coins are hiding in plain sight, right now near you. And that's your opportunity. Right now, if you have any coins nearby, especially ones where the date ends in a 7, do not spend them. Yes, I'm serious. Some coins with the right details have sold for over $35,000. Think about that. Tens of thousands of dollars, hiding in everyday change. And here's the part nobody tells you. The less people understand this, the easier it is for collectors to pull valuable coins out of circulation. So before you spend anything, check your pocket, check your wallet, check your change jar. Because the coin you ignore today could be worth thousands tomorrow. And trust me, this is just the beginning. From here, it only gets rarer, scarier, and more valuable. Stay with me until the end. This is Numismatic Vault Extra, USA, United States. And these coins change everything. Money bag. The 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is one of the most misunderstood coins in American history. A coin surrounded by myths, excitement, and sometimes exaggerated dreams of instant wealth. When you first hold this coin, it feels different from most coins. Not just because of its size, but because it represents a turning point. It was the first time in United States history that a real woman, Susan B. Anthony, appeared on circulating coinage, marking a bold and symbolic step forward. This coin was born in 1979, a time when the United States was experimenting with modern currency systems. The government wanted to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar with something smaller and more practical. The result was this new dollar coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, featuring Anthony's strong and determined portrait on the front and an eagle landing on the moon on the reverse, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission. But despite its powerful symbolism, the coin faced a major problem from the very beginning. Its size and color were very similar to a quarter, and people quickly became confused when using it in everyday transactions. Because of this, the coin was not widely accepted by the public, and it never achieved the popularity that the government had hoped for. The 1979 P version, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, had a massive mintage of about 360 million coins, making it extremely common. This is one of the most important facts to understand, because many people believe that old coins automatically have high value. In reality, rarity is what creates value, and this coin was produced in huge numbers. In everyday circulated condition, most 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollars are worth around $1 to $2, only slightly above face value. This means that if you find one in your pocket or in an old collection, it is usually not a rare treasure. However, the story becomes far more interesting when we look deeper into the details. Not all 1979 P coins are exactly the same. There's a special variety known as the wide rim, or near-date version. In this variety, the date appears closer to the edge of the coin, making it visually distinct. This wide rim version is much more desirable to collectors. Depending on its condition, it can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $1,000s. Some high-grade examples have sold for thousands, showing how small differences can create big value. Condition plays a huge role in determining value. A coin that has been used in circulation will show wear, scratches, and dullness. But a coin that has never been used, known as uncirculated, can shine with a bright, original luster. These coins are far more valuable because they are rare survivors in perfect condition. At the highest levels of grading, the value can become impressive. Some top-grade 1979 P coins have reached prices of $6,000 or more, especially for the wide rim variety in near-perfect condition. In extremely rare cases, error coins or exceptional specimens can reach even higher values, sometimes approaching $10,000 plus. But here's the truth that many people do not want to hear. The idea that this coin can make you a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Most of these coins are common, and only a very small percentage reach high values. The dream is based on rare exceptions, not the average coin. Another important detail is the composition. Despite its silver-like appearance, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar does not contain silver. It is made of copper and nickel, with a copper core, which means its value does not come from precious metal. Interestingly, many collectors and even online discussions confirm this reality. Some people believe they have valuable coins worth thousands, only to discover they are common pieces worth face value. They're worth $1 each. They made billions of them. This shows how important it is to understand the difference between hype and real market value. Still, the excitement around this coin is not meaningless. It represents history, change, and the possibility of discovery. It reminds collectors that even common coins can become valuable under the right conditions. The design itself adds to its charm. Anthony's portrait is strong and detailed, representing determination and progress. The reverse design, with the eagle landing on the moon, connects the coin to one of humanity's greatest achievements. Even though millions were made, fewer remain in perfect condition today. Time, handling, and everyday use have reduced the number of high-quality coins, making the best examples more desirable. Collectors continue to search for these coins, especially the wide-rim variety and high-grade specimens. The thrill of finding one keeps the hobby alive and exciting. If you ever come across a 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, don't rush to spend it. Look closely at the date and the rim. Check its condition and shine. You might not have a $35,000 treasure, but you could still have something worth more than face value. Because in the end, the real power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its story. A story of ambition, change, and the idea that even the most ordinary object can hold a hidden spark of possibility, waiting quietly in your hand to be discovered. Next up, the 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is one of the most fascinating modern coins ever created. Not because it is rare in its ordinary form, but because it carries a powerful story, a golden appearance, and a mystery that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. When you first see this coin, it shines differently from other coins, with a warm golden glow that makes it feel special, almost like treasure. Yet behind that shine lies a truth that separates reality from myth, and understanding that truth is the key to unlocking its real value. This coin was introduced in the year 2000, marking the beginning of a new chapter in American coinage. It replaced the Susan B. Anthony dollar and aimed to create a more recognizable and appealing dollar coin. The design features Sacagawea, a Native American woman who played a crucial role in guiding the Lewis and Clark expedition. Her image represents strength, guidance, and the spirit of exploration. On the front of the coin, Sacagawea is shown carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, a symbol of both motherhood and courage. The design feels alive, almost as if it captures a moment in history rather than just a portrait. It is one of the few coins that tells a story directly through its imagery. The reverse of the coin features a soaring eagle, wings extended, representing freedom and ambition. This design connects the coin to the future, while the front connects it to the past, creating a powerful balance between history and progress. The D Mint mark on this coin tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint. In the year 2000, the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of these coins, over 518 million pieces, making them extremely common. This massive production ensured that the coin would circulate widely, becoming part of everyday life. Because of this, most 2000 D Sacagawea dollars are worth only their face value of $1 in circulated condition. This is one of the most important facts to understand, because many people believe that the golden color means the coin is made of gold or is automatically valuable. In reality, the coin is not made of gold. It is composed mainly of copper, with a special manganese brass outer layer that gives it its golden appearance. This means its value does not come from precious metal, but from rarity and condition. However, the story becomes far more exciting when we move beyond the ordinary coins. In the world of collecting, certain rare versions of the 2000 Sacagawea dollar can be worth significant amounts of money. One of the most famous is the Cheerios dollar. In 2000, some of these coins were placed inside cereal boxes as part of a promotion. A small number of them were struck with enhanced tail feather details on the eagle, making them rare and highly collectible. These coins can be worth anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 or more, depending on condition. Another valuable variety is the wounded eagle error, where a line appears across the eagle's body due to a die flaw. These coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their quality. But the most extraordinary story comes from a rare and almost unbelievable mistake known as the mule error. This is a coin that was struck with the front of a Washington quarter and the back of a Sacagawea dollar. Only a tiny number of these coins exist, and they have sold for astonishing amounts, sometimes reaching $100,000 to over $190,000 at auction. This is where the dream of hidden treasure becomes real. Not for every coin, but for the rare exceptions that escape the mint with unique features. These are the coins that can truly change a collector's fortune. Even without errors, condition plays a powerful role. A 2000 D Sacagawea dollar in perfect, uncirculated condition can be worth more than face value, sometimes reaching $10 to $25 or more, and in top grades even higher. But here's the truth that must be understood clearly. The idea that every 2000 D Sacagawea dollar can make you a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Most of these coins are common, and their value remains close to $1 unless they have rare features or exceptional condition. This does not make the coin unimportant. In fact, its real value lies in its story. It represents a moment when the United States tried to change how people used money, introducing a new design that honored a powerful historical figure. Collectors are drawn to this coin not just for its value, but for the mystery it carries. The possibility that a rare version might be hiding among ordinary coins creates excitement and curiosity. Even today, people search through old collections, coin rolls, and forgotten drawers, hoping to find one of these rare varieties. The thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting so engaging. The golden color of the coin adds to its appeal. It stands out from other coins, making it feel special even when it is common. This visual difference is part of what keeps people interested in it. Over time, many of these coins have been lost, damaged, or worn down, reducing the number of high-quality examples. This makes well-preserved coins more desirable to collectors. The 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is a perfect example of how a coin can be both common and extraordinary at the same time. Most are ordinary, but a few are truly rare and valuable. If you ever find one, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Check the details of the eagle, the condition of the surface, and any unusual features. You might not have a $35,000 coin, but you could have something worth much more than you expect. Because in the end, the real power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in the idea that something small, something ordinary, can carry a hidden story. And sometimes, that story can turn into a treasure waiting quietly in your hand. Next up, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is one of those coins that feels powerful the moment you hold it. Heavy in the hand and rich with history, yet surrounded by myths that promise sudden wealth and overnight fortune. Many people look at this coin and imagine it could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, believing its age and bold design hide a secret treasure. But the real story is far deeper, more fascinating, and far more meaningful than simple dreams of instant riches. This coin was born in the shadow of a national tragedy. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. By 1972, the coin had already become a symbol of memory, respect, and national identity. Every piece carries not just metal, but emotion, history, and a connection to a moment that changed a nation forever. The 1972 version without a mint mark was produced in Philadelphia, and the absence of the mark is not an error. It simply means it came from that mint. At the time, it was completely normal for Philadelphia coins to have no mint mark. Over 153 million of these coins were produced, making them extremely common in circulation. When you look at the coin closely, you see the strong profile of Kennedy on the front, facing left, with the word Liberty above and the date below. On the reverse, the presidential seal spreads across the surface, with an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. This design is bold, detailed, and instantly recognizable. One of the biggest misconceptions about the 1972 Kennedy half dollar is that it contains silver or gold. In reality, it does not. After 1970, these coins were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning a copper core with a nickel outer layer. This gives the coin its silvery appearance, but it has no precious metal value. In everyday circulated condition, most 1972 half dollars are worth only their face value, about 50 cents to $1. This is the truth that many collectors discover after the excitement fades. The coin is not rare simply because it is old. However, the story does not end there. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and even common coins can become valuable under the right conditions. The key factors are rarity, condition, and errors. Condition is one of the most powerful elements. A coin that has never been used, with sharp details and a bright original shine, can be worth significantly more. Uncirculated 1972 half dollars can reach $10 to $40, and in very high grades, even $1,000 or more. This is where the idea of hidden value begins to feel real. Not because every coin is valuable, but because a small number of exceptional coins rise above the rest. Then come the rare errors and varieties, which are the true stars of the collecting world. One of the most famous is the no-FG variety, where the initials of the designer, Frank Gasparo, are missing from the reverse of the coin. This happens when the die is overpolished during production. These rare no-FG coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some have sold for $2,000 to $4,500 or more, depending on their condition. This is the kind of discovery that turns an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. There are also other types of mint errors, double strikes, off-center strikes, and planchet errors that can increase value. These mistakes are rare, and that rarity is what makes them valuable. But here is the truth that must be understood clearly. The dream that a 1972 Kennedy half dollar will automatically make you a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Most of these coins are common, and their value remains modest. Still, the excitement is not false. It comes from possibility. Every coin carries a chance, however small, that it might be something special. That is what keeps collectors searching, examining, and hoping. Interestingly, many collectors share this reality in their own experiences. No mint mark typically means Philadelphia, regular issue coin. This shows that what seems rare at first glance is often normal, and true rarity requires deeper knowledge. Over time, many 1972 half dollars have been lost, worn down, or damaged, reducing the number of high-quality examples. This makes the best-preserved coins more desirable. The weight and size of the coin also add to its appeal. It feels substantial, almost like holding a piece of history in your hand. This physical presence makes it different from smaller coins and adds to its emotional value. Collectors continue to search for these coins in rolls, collections, and even everyday change. The thrill of discovery is what keeps the hobby alive. If you ever find a 1972 Kennedy half dollar, don't rush to spend it. Look closely at the details. Check for missing initials, unusual marks, or exceptional condition. You may not have a $35,000 coin, but you could have something far more meaningful. A piece of history with the potential, however small, to surprise you. Because in the end, the true power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its story. A story of legacy, memory, and the quiet possibility that something ordinary can become extraordinary when you take the time to truly see it. Next up, the 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark is not just another coin. It is a symbol of a dramatic turning point in American history, a moment when money itself was transformed. When you first hold this coin, it may look ordinary, but hidden inside its metal is a story of change, crisis, and the beginning of a new era. Many people believe this coin could be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, imagining it has the power to change their life overnight. But the truth, like the coin itself, has two sides, one common and one rare, one ordinary and one extraordinary. In 1965, the United States made a bold decision that shocked collectors and citizens alike. For decades, quarters had been made with 90% silver, giving them real intrinsic value. But rising silver prices forced the government to remove silver from everyday coins. This 1965 quarter became the first Washington quarter made without silver, marking the end of a long-standing tradition. Because of this change, the coin is historically important, even if it is not always financially valuable. It represents a shift from precious metal currency to modern clad coinage, made from layers of copper and nickel. This is why, when you look at the edge of a normal 1965 quarter, you will see a copper-colored stripe instead of solid silver. Another interesting detail is the missing mint mark. Many people think this means the coin is rare, but in reality, all quarters from 1965 to 1967 were produced without mint marks. This was done intentionally to stop people from hoarding coins during the transition. The Philadelphia Mint, along with other mints, produced an enormous number of these coins, over 1.8 billion pieces. This massive production means that most 1965 quarters are extremely common, and in everyday circulated condition, they are worth only 25 cents to $1. This is where reality begins to separate from the dream. The idea that every 1965 quarter can make you rich overnight is not true. Most of these coins are ordinary, used in daily transactions, and still found in circulation even today. However, the story does not end here. Hidden within this sea of common coins are rare exceptions, coins that escape the mint with unusual features, mistakes, or extraordinary quality. These are the coins that can truly become valuable. One of the most famous and valuable versions is the 1965 Silver Era Quarter. During the transition from silver to clad coins, a small number of leftover silver planchets from 1964 were accidentally used. These coins look similar at first glance, but they have a solid silver edge and are slightly heavier. These rare silver-era coins can be worth $7,000 to $16,800 or more, depending on their condition. This is where the excitement becomes real, because finding one of these is like discovering a hidden treasure in your own pocket. There are also other era types that collectors search for, such as double-die coins, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet errors. Some of these can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if they are well preserved. Then comes the power of condition. A coin that has never been used, with perfect detail and brilliant shine, can be worth far more than a worn one. High-grade 1965 quarters have sold for $5,000 to over $11,000, and in rare cases even higher. This is known as condition rarity. Because most coins were heavily used during the coin shortage, very few were saved in perfect condition. That makes top-quality examples incredibly desirable. There are even ultra-rare errors, such as coins struck multiple times or with unusual die combinations, that can reach $30,000 or more in extreme cases. These are the kinds of coins that inspire stories of life-changing discoveries. But here's the truth you must understand clearly. Not every 1965 quarter is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth only their face value. The dream of becoming a billionaire from a common coin is based on rare exceptions, not everyday reality. Still, the possibility is what keeps collectors searching. Every coin carries a question. Could this be the rare one? Could this be the coin that was struck differently, preserved perfectly, or hidden away for decades? Even collectors online share this reality openly. They made almost $2 billion. It's just a quarter. Yet even in that honesty, there is hope, because among those billions, a few rare pieces truly stand out. The design itself adds to the coin's appeal. George Washington's portrait on the front represents leadership and history, while the eagle on the reverse symbolizes strength and freedom. This combination makes the coin not just currency, but a piece of American identity. Over time, many of these coins have been worn down, lost, or damaged. This reduces the number of high-quality examples, increasing their value for collectors. The weight, texture, and sound of the coin can also reveal clues. A silver-era coin will sound different when dropped and feel slightly heavier in the hand. If you ever find a 1965 Washington quarter, don't rush to spend it. Look closely at the edge. Check its weight, its shine, and its details. You might not have a $35,000 treasure, but you could have something far more interesting than you expect. Because in the end, the true power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its story. A story of change, transition, and the hidden possibility that something ordinary can become extraordinary if you know how to recognize it. Next up, the 1924 D Buffalo nickel is not just a coin. It is a piece of American soul captured in metal, a relic from a time when coins were more than currency. They were art, identity, and storytelling. When you hold this coin, you're holding something that has survived a century of history, passing through countless hands, witnessing change, struggle, and growth. Many people today look at this coin and believe it could make them rich overnight, that it hides unimaginable value, perhaps even tens of thousands of dollars. But like all great treasures, its true power lies in understanding its story. This coin was created during a time when the United States wanted its money to reflect its heritage. The Buffalo nickel, designed by James O. Fraser, was introduced in 1913 and became one of the most iconic coins ever made. The front shows a Native American profile, strong and detailed, representing the original spirit of the land. The reverse shows a powerful buffalo, standing firm, symbolizing strength and survival. By 1924, the coin was already widely used across the country. The Denver Mint, marked with a small d on the reverse beneath the words 5 cents, produced about 5.2 million of these coins. This number might sound large, but compared to other years, it is relatively low, making the 1924 D a semi-scarce coin. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately. They were used in daily life, buying food, paying fares, and moving through the economy. Because of this heavy use, many of them became worn down quickly. The date and fine details often faded, making well-preserved examples much harder to find today. In average circulated condition, a 1924 D Buffalo nickel is typically worth around $6 to $100 or more, depending on how much detail remains. Some estimates place common examples around $9 to $20, showing that not every old coin is automatically valuable. This is where reality begins to separate from imagination. The idea that every 1924 D Buffalo nickel can make you a billionaire overnight is not true. Most of these coins are modest in value, appreciated more for their history than their price. But the story changes dramatically when we talk about condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that has sharp details, clear features, and original shine can be worth far more than a worn one. Uncirculated 1924 D nickels, those that were never used in daily transactions, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some high-grade examples have sold for $3,000 to $12,000, showing how powerful condition can be. And then we reach the level where dreams begin to feel real. The finest known examples, graded at the highest levels, have sold for as much as $44,063 at auction. This is where the idea of a $35,000 coin comes from. Not from the average coin, but from the rarest and most perfect survivors. Why are these top coins so valuable? Because they are incredibly rare. Out of millions minted, only a tiny number remain in near-perfect condition. Time, wear, and handling have reduced their numbers dramatically. Another factor that adds to the coin's mystery is the quality of the strike. Buffalo nickels from the Denver Mint in the 1920s were often weakly struck. This means that details like the buffalo's horn or the Native American's hair may appear soft or incomplete. Coins with strong, sharp details are much more valuable because they are harder to find. Collectors often search for specific features: full horn detail on the buffalo, clear feather lines in the headdress, and a visible, strong date. These details can turn an ordinary coin into a highly desirable one. There's also the possibility of mint errors, though they are less common for this date. Errors such as double strikes or off-center designs can increase the value significantly, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars. But here is the truth that must be clearly understood. The majority of 1924 D Buffalo nickels will not reach these high values. The dream of instant wealth is based on rare exceptions, not everyday reality. Still, the excitement remains real, because every coin carries a possibility. Every coin asks a question. Could this be one of the rare ones? Could this be the coin that survived untouched, hidden away for decades? Collectors often share this experience. Many find Buffalo nickels in old collections or even in circulation, and the thrill of discovery is unforgettable. They are out there but very rare. I found one flip my lid. This shows that while rare finds are possible, they are not common, and that rarity is exactly what creates value. The composition of the coin is also important. It is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, not silver or gold. This means its value does not come from precious metal, but from collectability and rarity. Over time, many buffalo nickels have developed beautiful natural toning, with shades of gold, blue, or brown appearing on the surface. These colors can add to the coin's appeal and sometimes increase its value. The 1924 D Buffalo nickel is more than just a collectible. It is a connection to a different era, a reminder of a time when coins were designed with artistic passion and cultural meaning. If you ever find one, don't rush to spend it. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and the details. Check the buffalo's horn, the clarity of the design, and the overall condition. You may not have a $35,000 treasure, but you might have something far more valuable in a different way. A piece of history, a story in metal, and a small chance at discovering something extraordinary. Because in the end, the real power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its mystery, its history, and the quiet possibility that something small and ordinary can hold a hidden fortune, waiting patiently to be recognized. Next up, the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is not just a small 5-cent coin. It is a powerful piece of wartime history, a coin born during one of the most intense periods the world has ever seen. When you hold this coin, you are holding something that was created not just for everyday use, but as part of a national emergency, a time when even the metals inside coins were changed to support a global conflict. Many people today believe this coin could be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, imagining it has the power to change their fortune overnight. But like all legendary coins, its true story is deeper, more complex, and far more fascinating than simple dreams of instant wealth. In 1943, the United States was fully engaged in World War II. Nickel metal was desperately needed for military equipment, especially for armor plating and weapons. Because of this, the government made a bold decision to remove nickel from the 5-cent coin entirely. Instead, a new alloy was created using 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese, something never used before in American coinage. This is why the 1943 Jefferson nickel is often called a war nickel. Unlike most nickels, it actually contains real silver. This gives it a base value, even in worn condition, because of its precious metal content. The P mint mark on this coin is also very special. It was the first time in U.S. history that the Philadelphia Mint used a P on a circulating coin. And unlike earlier nickels, the mint mark is large and clearly visible above the Monticello building on the reverse. This was done so people could easily identify the new silver coins. More than 271 million of these 1943 P nickels were produced, making them very common. Because of this, most examples are not rare. In fact, in average circulated condition, they are typically worth around $2 to $6, mainly based on their silver content. This is where the truth begins to separate from the dream. The idea that every 1943 P nickel can make you a billionaire overnight is not realistic. Most of these coins are common and widely available, even today. But the story does not end there. Hidden within this massive number of coins are rare varieties and exceptional examples that can be worth far more. One of the most famous and valuable versions is the 1943/2 P overdate error, where the number 3 was stamped over a 2. This rare mistake can make the coin worth up to $16,675 in top condition. This is the kind of discovery that turns a simple coin into a life-changing treasure. Another interesting variety is the doubled eye error, where the eye of Jefferson appears doubled due to a die issue. These coins can range from a few dollars to over $1,000, depending on condition. Then comes the importance of condition. A coin that has been used in circulation will show wear, scratches, and fading details. But a coin that has never been used, an uncirculated coin, can be much more valuable. High-grade 1943 P nickels with sharp details and strong luster can reach $1,000 to $4,000, and in rare full steps condition, where the steps of Monticello are perfectly visible, they can sell for over $14,000. This is where the idea of a $35,000 coin comes into the story. While extremely rare, the combination of perfect condition, rare variety, and collector demand can push certain coins into very high price ranges. But here's the reality that must be understood clearly. The vast majority of 1943 P nickels are not worth thousands. They are valuable mainly for their silver content and historical significance. Collectors often share this truth from real experience. Worth around $25, large population of pristine versions. This shows that even beautiful coins are often not rare enough to reach extreme values. Still, the excitement remains powerful, because every coin carries a possibility. Every coin could be the one with a hidden error, a rare strike, or an untouched surface that has survived for decades. The design itself adds to the coin's appeal. On the front, Thomas Jefferson's portrait represents leadership and intellect. On the back, Monticello stands as a symbol of American heritage and architecture. Over time, many of these coins have developed unique toning, shades of gray, gold, and even blue, caused by the silver content reacting with the environment. These natural colors can make each coin look different and sometimes increase its desirability. The weight and feel of the coin also tell a story. It may look small, but it carries the weight of history, a reminder of a time when even pocket change was shaped by global events. If you ever find a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel, don't rush to spend it. Look at the mint mark above Monticello. Check the details of the date and the design. Look for unusual features, like doubling or overdates. You may not have a $35,000 treasure, but you could have something far more meaningful. A real silver coin from World War II. A piece of history that has traveled through time to reach your hand. Because in the end, the true power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its story. A story of war, innovation, and the quiet possibility that something small and ordinary can hold a hidden spark of value, waiting to be discovered. Next up, the 1954 D. Lincoln Wheat penny is one of those coins that seems small, simple, and ordinary at first glance, yet carries a deep sense of mystery, history, and possibility. When you hold this coin, you are holding a piece of mid-20th century America, a time when coins were still made with classic designs and strong materials, and when even a single cent could travel through countless hands, stories, and moments. Many people believe this coin could be worth thousands, even $35,000 or more, and that it holds the power to change their fortune overnight. But like all coins with legendary reputations, its true story lies somewhere between reality and imagination. This coin was minted in 1954, during the final years of the famous Wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the back, symbolizing growth, prosperity, and the strength of a nation rebuilding after difficult times. By 1954, this design had already become one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. The D. Mint mark on the coin tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint. In that year, the Denver Mint struck over 251 million coins, making the 1954 D. penny extremely common. This is one of the most important facts to understand, because many people assume that age alone creates value. In reality, rarity is the key, and this coin was produced in very large numbers. In everyday circulated condition, a 1954 D. Wheat penny is typically worth around 5 to 15 cents, sometimes a little more, depending on its condition. This means that most examples are not rare treasures, but rather common coins that have survived over time. However, the story becomes far more exciting when we look deeper, because while most of these coins are ordinary, a small number are truly special, and these are the ones that create the dream of hidden wealth. Condition is one of the biggest factors that can transform this coin from common to valuable. A coin that has been used in circulation will show wear, scratches, and fading details, but a coin that has never been used, an uncirculated coin, can shine with a bright red luster, showing its original mint condition. High-grade 1954 D. pennies can be worth $10 to $150 or more, and in the very highest grades, even higher prices have been recorded. While this is not $35,000, it shows how dramatically value can increase with condition alone. Then come the error coins, the true stars of the collecting world. These are coins that were struck with mistakes during the minting process. For the 1954 D. penny, one of the most famous error types is the repunched mint mark, RPM, where the D. mint mark appears doubled or even tripled. Some of these RPM-era coins have sold for $100 to $300 or more, depending on how clear and dramatic the error is. These are the kinds of coins that collectors actively search for, because they are far rarer than standard coins. Other errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or grease-filled dies, can also increase value. In some cases, unusual and visually striking errors can reach into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now this is where the dream of $35,000 enters the story. While a standard 1954 D penny will not reach that level, extremely rare coins, those with perfect condition, rare errors, or unique characteristics, can sometimes reach very high auction prices. For example, some top-grade wheat pennies from this era have sold for thousands, and in rare cases, tens of thousands of dollars. But here is the truth that must be clearly understood. The vast majority of 1954 D pennies are not worth thousands. The idea of becoming a billionaire from this coin is based on rare exceptions, not the typical coin. Collectors often share this reality from real-life experience. It's worth 3 to 5 cents, just another penny. This may sound simple, but it reflects the truth of the market. Most coins are common, and only a few become valuable. Still, the excitement remains real, because every coin carries a possibility. Every coin could be the one that escaped the mint with a rare error, or the one that was preserved perfectly for decades. The copper composition of the coin also adds to its charm. Unlike modern pennies, which are mostly zinc, the 1954 D penny is made primarily of copper, giving a richer color and a heavier feel. Over time, many of these coins have developed beautiful natural tones, shades of brown, red, and even hints of gold. These colors can make each coin unique and sometimes increase its desirability. The historical value of the coin is also important. It represents the final chapter of the wheat penny era, just a few years before the design changed in 1959. This makes it a piece of a larger story, a transition from one era to another. Collectors continue to search for these coins in old collections, jars, and even pocket change. The thrill of discovery is what keeps the hobby alive and exciting. If you ever find a 1954 D wheat penny, don't rush to spend it. Look closely at the mint mark, the condition, and the details. Check for unusual features or errors. You may not have a $35,000 treasure, but you could have something far more meaningful, a piece of history, a connection to the past, and a small chance at discovering something rare. Because in the end, the true power of this coin is not just in its price. It is in its story, a story of time, survival, and the quiet possibility that something ordinary can become extraordinary if you know how to see it.